All right.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Actually, it just said 5 and it started recording. So we're recording. We're on the Butt
That's
Fixer
cool, man.
episode 6, but
Something
it's actually
like that.
5. It's actually 5 because I messed up 5 and had to trash it.
Oh yeah, we got to redo Paulo.
We got to redo to number 5. So yeah, we're waiting. Tell me who we're waiting for to come in
today. We are interviewing Jason Patterson, who is a prolific drummer from Raleigh, North Carolina. Was in some amazing bands, still is, and still in an amazing band. He was the drummer for Cry of Love and played in Nantucket back in the 80s. And he's sat in with them, and then he's in COC right now, and he's got a successful landscaping business. I mean, we've got a ton to talk about. Yeah, Corrosion of Conformity.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, those guys have been around since the 80s.
All right.
Good
you
old
got
Raleigh
him
boys.
on. You got him on your text. Did he get the?
Yeah, I just
invite?
checked in with him. Let's see. Did you get it? Yeah, I can't wait to find out more about. I know a lot about this guy, but I can't wait to find out even more because pretty fascinating individual. One of the nicest guys you ever meet too. I mean, a lot of guys in the music business, especially when they hit a certain level, you know, you kind of can't get to them anymore, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
And he's always open mics, open jams if he's, I mean, you can sit down and talk to the guy.
Oh,
super
really?
nice. Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool.
man. He's really down to earth and super talented. And yeah, it's going to be really good.
All right.
Well, what have you been up to down there in Portugal, Mr. World Traveler?
Well, I got Erica's here now, so we've been doing, kid stuff, dad stuff. I got a sunburn. Yep. Finally, the sun came out here. So, yeah.
I know. I'm getting ready to, as soon as we're done, I'm jumping on the jet ski. I've already got my sun shirt on. And
yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. He said he opened the link and he can see himself, but does not see us.
Oh, my gosh. Do we need to, I don't know.
Hang on.
I think I don't know what the link looks like when it comes across. This is a first. Usually people at least get in. They can't.
But we look like a couple of fucking geniuses right now.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
I guess this is pretty typical for episode 5 or 6. Technical,
5 or 6,
ridiculous.
5/6 or 6/5 or whatever. Yeah. What's he doing now?
Oh shit! He can't see. He doesn't see us.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, you're on. I'm on. He's got to be on.
You sent the same link?
Yeah, I sent the same link. He said he could see himself, so he's in the studio, but he's not on.
Oh, fuck.
Do I need to start over? Let's start over. Fuck it.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Oh. If I went into the little thing on the side, it says one audience, Shane. Let's see. Hang on. Let me see if I click this. See if over on the right side of my screen, I got a little camera, a little microphone, a little bubble, and 3 dots. Hit those 3 dots if you got those. It says one audience, but I cannot click on it.
I don't even see one audience.
Oh, I don't know if that's him or not.
I'm hitting the invite again. I'll invite. I mean, people. All right. Tell him to check his thing. I sent it again, so maybe he can re-click it. People are like, wow, this is the greatest podcast I ever heard in my whole life. It's nothing but a couple of dudes pushing buttons on their computer and texting people and figuring out, like, what the fuck is, like, going on.
I don't know. We're not qualified for this level of sophistication of technology.
I mean, yeah. We've had
stupid. We can't even get a guest on. This is great.
There he is.
I think I see him.
He's coming in.
There we go.
Aha! We got someone.
Very nice.
Well, Mr. Patterson, right. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on with us. This is my buddy John. He's down in Portugal. We're just a couple of crazy dog trainers with a curiosity about legends and how they built their businesses.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you're contacting me, but thank you anyway. Legend in my own mind. Right.
Right. There you go. Hey, well, you're a legend in a lot of people's minds, man. So I got to start off first by saying, dude, Brother is the soundtrack of my freaking life, man. That record came out at the perfect time. Like, that's the only time I've ever pulled my car over to the side of the road and had to stop and listen and go, who the fuck is that? And why don't I know who they are? And then to find out you guys are right in our hometown. You're our hometown guys.
It was a new Bad Company record.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
tell you
awesome.
what, I listen to Cry of Love every day. I don't listen to Bad Company every day.
But thank you so much.
Oh, my
Very
goodness.
cool, man.
I got so much to talk to you about.
We had
but
fun making
first,
that record, man. It was quick and so simple. We had really limited funds. I mean,
right.
our entire album budget was probably half of some of Columbia's, singles for some of their
Really?
pop stars. I mean, it was
Wow.
just next to nothing. I mean, we were on such a budget, and I mean, I was there 5 days, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that. I mean, the first day we got in there and set up my kit, and we tried to do as much as we could live.
Right.
Most of the tracks, were all recorded live, rhythm tracks and guitar tracks. Try to get it all at one time.
Yeah.
And to make it just as we played it, I mean, there were some tracks overdub, but most of it, and no digital effects, nothing. We everything was like a analog. They had this thing that they used with Skinner to get that doubling sound on Ronnie's voice and the guitars, and it was literally like this big box with like these garden hoses in it, and they changed the length of the hoses, and that gave the effect of a delay or doubling sound.
Wow.
The way it came through. And I mean, they literally pulled that thing out and like blew the dust off of like it was some relic, know. And
well, it worked.
I mean, yeah, and just walking around the studio, I mean, the Pulitzer piano that Aretha Franklin played on, and her piano that she played Natural Woman on, and all that stuff is all still just right there.
Wow.
And we used all those same microphones that all those guys used.
Wow. Really?
The old Neumanns, 2 mics, they had 4 of them set up, and it was a big room. And so my kit was just set up, and then Audley and Robert facing me, and Kelly doing scratch tracks in the other room. And but yeah, so we were just playing live with each other. And so yeah, it was great.
What was the rehearsal schedule like to get yourself tight enough to record an album live like that? Was it just because you were playing all the time, or did you guys rehearse religiously? Or
we didn't play out very much. That's the one thing we didn't want to do. We didn't want to like just try to get out and play for $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
Just all of us had jobs, and so after work you showed up, and we just hammered it out. We just worked.
Wow.
So we played those songs over and over and over again. So yeah, we were tight. We knew those songs, and we had done the demos at Jag Studios with John Custer. And
I recorded there once as well before
man, it was a great room.
Walking in that place, you just go. I just wanted to touch the walls and just
a lot of good
soak
stuff
it up, man. There's so much.
Yeah, the first DAG record, half of that was recorded there. John had such a great ear, and he could emulate any sound. He heard something he liked, he would figure out a way to record it or find the people to play on it to recreate that. Man, I want an Al Green song, and so they would record something, write it, and it just sounded like Al Green. It was recorded in 1970. But those guys were great.
Well, take us. I completely jumped right in, just fanning out here real quick I had to get that out of my system so I could think straight and give you room to, but take us back to when you began, because, obviously we're going to get into business stuff and just kind of like what it's like being a professional musician, and you've got a landscaping business as well.
Right.
So we're gonna get into all that stuff too, but kind of take us back, like what kind of influenced you to become a musician in the first? Like, was there music in your family, in your home all the time, or were you just what got you behind the kit?
Well, I was the youngest of three. I had an older sister and I have an older brother, and so they were. And my brother was a DJ, radio DJ, and so he was bringing home, records and stuff, and introducing me to. Of course, my sister introduced me to the Beatles, in 64, 65, and of course, I thought it was sort of silly, where she would scream at the TV and everything,
Right.
yelling and screaming on the Ed Sullivan Show, but I knew I just wanted to play drums. I mean, from the time I was three years old, I knew I was going to be a drummer. I just knew it. I had these two little trash cans. One was plastic and one was metal, and Lincoln logs that you used to play with when you were a kid. And those were my sticks. And I'd sit there and just play beats. Play beats. And then my parents got me a toy kit when I was about 5. I destroyed those, and then I got my first real kit in '68.
Nice.
I was 8, and then just kept on. Went in through band, high school band, and all that stuff. But nobody else in my family were musicians.
Okay.
But they all love music.
Right. You got to have fans.
Yeah.
What was your first band then?
Luckily we had some guys around here my age that were really good. My bestie was a good singer and a songwriter. I mean, he was doing originals and everything when he was 13, 14 years old. And we had our little band, and we'd play little parties at the Girl Scout hut, and just some of the the Kiwanis Club and the Moose Lodge and stuff like that. And but we played. I mean, we practiced all the time, and we knew all these songs. Of course, heavy was Foghat, something like that. We did a lot of CTR, some of that, but those were fun days. I mean, they're still friends with all those cats,
Yeah.
A couple of them continued on and played a little bit, but not as much as what I did, but and try to make a living out of it.
Yeah. That's the trick. Like, how do you, man, I mean, there's so many, even amazing players that just never see the light of day. Like they never break through,
Right,
like,
place at right
can you
time.
take us through that sort of that trajectory of like going from the Girl Scout hut to,
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But and I told people that too about even Cry of Love. We about been out for a while. We were out with Aerosmith, and so we were deep into the Brother record. People knew who we were, and Peace Pipe and Bad Thing had been on the radio, and both were number one, gone number one. So we were still touring that record. But this kid came up to me at one of the shows, and he had a backstage laminate, and he walked up to me. He knew who I was, and he said, "Man, has the reality set in?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You've made it, man. You've made it." And I said, "Hey, look around." I said, "See all these people working in the buses and those tractor trailers?" I said, "That's all Aerosmith." I said, "See the van, the passenger van, and the cube truck? That's my reality every day."
Right.
So he was just everybody thinks when you get a record deal and you're out touring, you just have wheelbarrows full of money. That's just not the way it is. It's a business.
Right.
Columbia Records has invested in your product.
Yeah.
And they'll keep pouring money into it, hoping for a return.
Get a return.
Something comes out. We did okay. It never went gold. Columbia just couldn't figure out what to do with us at that time. We weren't metal.
Yeah.
We weren't alternative. We weren't pop.
So but it was fucking good though, man.
Yeah, it was a good record. It was only one. All the musicians that we toured with were big fans. They just loved the record. They would always go, "It's the first thing in my CD player, dude."
Yeah,
I just love it. How'd y'all get those sounds? Like, we just didn't put anything on it. You know, it was just natural. It was everything was just natural drums. I mean, man, we got my drum check in an hour.
Really?
Muscle Shoals. We spent an hour on the drums.
What?
And started tracking. You know, just started tracking.
Good
like,
gracious. That's unheard of.
Just go.
I've done a few records and spent an hour on the snare.
Yeah. And we tested out a few snare drums, and we had what did we have? Had Sennheisers on the toms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those Neumanns were amazing. But that was about it. You know, I mean, big old rock drums. Big Yamaha recording customs.
Mm-hmm.
Two 26-inch bass drums, 13 rack, 16, 18. And we ended up using this Tama 80s Tama steel snare, Imperial Star snare. Out of everything I brought, that one was the winner. So you just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have $1,000 snare drum or $100 snare drum, whichever, whatever works.
That's right.
So that's what we used. I mean, we would try to track at least 3 songs a day.
Wow.
And there was no such thing as bad thing. We didn't have a shuffle. And
really?
So we just made it up as we went along in the studio. Ollie said, dude, we need a shuffle. I got an idea.
That's crazy.
And so there was no lyrics. I never heard the song until the record came out.
Seriously?
And, never heard it.
Bad thing?
Yeah, never heard it. And it's like, we're going to do a false start. And, but we just do like a something, so I just came up with the flam, thing. So that was the false start you hear.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, start again. So there's no bass track.
That is so crazy.
There was no bass track. Ollie just stood in front of me and gave me the cues for the go, the chorus, and said, then there's a stop. And Pepper Keenan came down and was hanging out, and so that's him playing the Wurlitzer. Boom,
oh, really?
On the break. That was his.
No way.
He got a credit.
That is cool. That is cool. Wow. Well, you're playing with them currently, right? Yeah. Man,
we went out and did some stuff.
Jumping all over the place here, but
22 did a little US run late in 22. They came out in April and did some stuff with their other drummer, John Green. And John lives in the UK. Right. And so they were able to come over. And so then it was this big, long break, about 6 months, and they didn't do anything.
Right.
And so John he started working and got a gig, I think, at an amphitheater, production manager, and he's married, got kids. He's like, mates, I can't go. I just can't leave for 3 weeks. Can't go.
Right.
And so I contacted Mike Dean and said, dude, I'm not doing anything. It's November. Let's go. Yeah. I'll go with you. So went out. It was fun. We're all buds, We've all known each other for 3 decades plus.
I know, it's so crazy. I had a rehearsal right there at the Maywood a couple of weeks ago, and I walk up, Mike Dean's just standing there on the stoop, and you just want to oh my, that's freaking Mike Dean standing right there, And I know I've met him a couple of times, and but he probably wouldn't know who the hell I was if I walked up and said, "Oh, hey, man, it's me, Shane." And
he's a very unique individual.
I just kind of went walked right by, and I was like, you want to say my guitar?
Extremely intelligent. Mike's a very talented guy, man.
Yeah,
very talented. He knows his stuff.
Right.
He get good sounds. He do anything, any of that stuff.
Yeah,
and climb up on a rig.
You're right. Yeah,
rig lights. He
That's
loves
wow.
it. At 60 years old, he's monkey man, running up there like a crazy guy.
Before we get too far away from it, so when Crowd Love hit and you start making, at least, I mean, are you at a living wage at that point as a musician, or are you?
We were a baby band. We chose to do the van and truck,
right,
instead of the bus. So we do a van, truck, and rooms, or you could do bus and truck, but no rooms, except on days off.
Okay,
and which were not many at all. I think the entire Brother tour, which was about 16 months, we had 30 days off at home.
Wow.
So we actually were home.
That's cruising.
30 days out of that.
Yeah.
And those were brief I pinched a nerve in my neck. We needed to take a little time off and fix that. Kelly needed about a week off. He'd gotten a sinus infection, and just he just didn't want to feed antibiotics. He wanted to get somewhere and take a little time off, get his throat better. So we took like a week off. You couldn't, the record labels and the management, you got to keep the wheels turning. You can't take a month off and lose momentum. You got to stay on it. Keep going. But that's their job to do that.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, John. Sorry.
As a business, then you made a decision to go with so you had a choice. You're like, oh yeah, we can have a bus, or we can do it like with a van, and then you just stay in hotel room.
When the Brother tour was over, we were in the black, which our accountants were like unfreaking heard of for a baby band on their solo tour to end in the black. I mean, most bands are, $500,000 or $1 million in debt.
In the hole, on
the first tour. We stayed in, we didn't, like rat holes, but we just did days ends and stuff like that. We just had 2 guys on crew, and when we were opening for somebody on a arena tour, we would hire one other guy just to help handle the stage, deal with them. We had our guy Bob Davis was our road manager, and he also helped. He did Audley's guitars and road managed. We had was our sound guy. Oh my gosh, I'm having a senior moment. He's gonna be so mad. His name's Lewis. And then our buddy, who's not with us anymore, his real name's Tim Quinlan, but everybody called him Scully. He was COC's guy for a while, but he was out with Pearl Jam and all that stuff, and during earlier in the 90s. But he went out with us. I'm gonna really hate myself not remembering my sound man's name. He was awesome, but we were all on the same page as far as how we behaved to our headliners. Just polite and happy to be there. Thank you for this opportunity.
Right.
And they all loved us, hanging out with Robert Plant.
I was gonna say, I mean,
just talking shit, just like,
that'd be amazing.
Talking about anything, family, car accidents, playing in the early days, what he did, how he got around and all this stuff. And he was really nice guy to us. Music fan. He's a music fan. And the ZZ Top guys were great. Aerosmith were sweet as could be to us.
Really?
And Steven Tyler was a fan. He'd walk in our dressing room. We'd always turn off all the fluorescent lights, and we'd carry around these little lamps and all these tapestries, and we'd always have some blues playing on a boom box. Right. And he'd walk in, I'm just like, oh my God, Steven Tyler. He's coming in, he's like, you guys got it going on here, man. I heard some Etta James come down. That's got to be Cry of Love's room. Come in, just hanging out, talking stuff,
Man,
that's so cool.
That is fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah. So where? Okay. So and before that, though, I mean, you did some time with Nantucket, right?
Yes. Yeah. I joined Nantucket in '86.
I know we're going backwards a little bit, but I still
right. In '86, I'd been doing I'd been doing the circuit tour in the early '80s, and then that kind of fizzled out. I did a house gig in Jacksonville for a while. It was a really good band, great players, and the bass player was actually the original bass player for Nantucket, Scott Confused, who's not with us anymore. But amazing vocalist and a great player. His keyboardist, Steve Dyer, one of the first to ever have a Poly 6 mode, Poly 6.
Yeah.
6 voices. That was a big deal, man. I think he paid $4,000 for that keyboard, something like that. Rick Lambert, great guitar. So those were fun days. Did that for a couple of years. Left from there. Did the lounge band circuit for a little while, show band circuit, just trying to find something to do, make a paycheck.
Right.
And it was all steady, not a lot of money, but it was steady.
Yeah.
You know, it beat working at McDonald's.
No doubt. No doubt.
Which I would do if I had to, but you know.
Sure.
So these are tours you're on. You're traveling around and playing.
Yeah, you got to travel. That's when touring.
What kind of travel? Like in the state, in the country, in the world. I mean,
mostly,
state,
but
mostly in the state.
The lounge band, we went out mostly in the West. We go out to Texas. Texas is such a huge state, and you could play in Houston for a couple of months and never see the same people. You know, so huge. Like we play like a Ramada South, and we'd be there for 2 weeks, and we just get to know the staff, and we get to know everybody, and be friends with them. And so then the next 2 weeks we're in the Ramada North. This is 80s. This is like 84, 85, and we'd say, well, look, hey, you know, come see me. Well, it's kind of far. I'm like, it's in the same town.
It's in the same city. Yeah,
about an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Right.
Yeah, that's how big that place was, and that's what it's been 40 years ago.
Yeah,
it's insane now, but
how do you get that? Who's booking you for that? Are you booking yourself? Are you?
I had no idea.
Is there somebody that books all that stuff for you?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you? You're like
this guy named Johnny Perazzo, fantastic, amazing singer and piano player. But we carried around a baby grand with us, a real baby grand.
What?
And all of us pitching in to move that damn thing. And so, but that's why we would play for 2 weeks at the same place. So, because it always had to be tuned once it got in there. And, we do, Monday through Saturday, 6 days, we'll have Sundays off,
Wow.
Monday through Saturday.
Parachute pants. All that.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Zipper jackets,
Yeah.
So how far into, like, where was your transition from? Like, what did you do for, like, what were your jobs before you started playing music? Or did you just start right in and that's just what you did?
Kind of right out. I did the factory thing for a little bit. My dad was in textiles, and he got me in working at the plant that he worked at. And it just wasn't for me,
Yeah, I feel you there.
I just couldn't do it. I knew I could play drums well. I knew I could make a living at it somehow.
Yeah, right.
And so in the early 80s, you didn't need to make much. We traveled. We had a van and a truck. I was most out of my really first real touring band was this band called Pegasus. They changed the name later to Pegasus Plus. But Jesse Dupree had Pegasus Rocks. And so they were all kicking around about the same time, 81, 80, 81. They were based out of Georgia.
Okay.
And would come play the Attic, in Greenville.
Yeah, oh God, I forgot all about that place.
But so
another one of those clubs that aren't there anymore.
Nothing's there anymore.
And we would play down in Florida a lot. And it did that whole circuit. Bands could, and it was like mini concerts. There were dressing rooms. There were clubs were set up for live music, not sports events with TVs everywhere. It was live.
I hate that so much.
They didn't open till 8, and 8 o'clock in the evening, and you started at 10 or 11, and you played till 2 a.m. Stayed up till 6, and slept all day.
Do it again. So
20.
when you're in that scenario, like, so do you just? Are they? You just getting cash every night and you squirrel it away and you put it, you pay your bills when you get back home off the run, or like, how do you manage
a good paycheck? You could play 6 nights.
Okay.
Like 6 at Monday through Saturdays. Yeah. And you play 3 sets a night. And you make about 125, about 500 a month. And it's 1980.
Right.
Gas was 75 cents a gallon.
True.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Yeah.
It was cheap.
Wow.
So you could survive on it easily. Always had money. Plenty of money. It didn't cost much, to survive.
Did anybody have to help you, teach you? Were you just kind of self-aware as far as managing it, and not like just rock starring out on everything every night
I wasn't
and making sure you
at all.
Okay,
I didn't drink. I didn't do anything.
Gotcha.
At
Well,
all.
you definitely had money then.
120, weighed about 125 pounds.
Right.
But but we played every night. Every night, and we were tight. That band got back together. One of our guitar players, Martin Bissell, after the band broke up in '81, then when social media got around, he contacted everybody around 2016, 2017. It was like, man, we should get together. And our other guitar player, J.K. Lofton, his dad was our booking agent. And so every time we played the Attic, he'd bring his Beta recorder and make tapes out of us. And so one line went to the board and one line was live. And so they really made for decent tapes.
Right.
And so JK has a studio, and so he cleaned them, washed them, remastered them several times and got some sheen to it. So he started sending them out to everybody, and we're like, oh my God, we were really good. We were a really good band. All those harmonies and arrangements. And I was like, if you told me that was me playing on that song, I said, you're a liar.
Right.
I don't even remember. But anyway, we got back and did some shows together.
That's cool.
For fun.
Right.
Martin, unfortunately, was we were going to do some more. Actually, we were thinking about trying to get together and just record all our old originals just for prosperity, But unfortunately, Martin was killed in a car accident.
Oh, goodness.
So that was put on hold. We still may do it.
Right.
And keep some of the live stuff on there too.
Right.
But that was my first touring band, and those guys were seasoned, so I was green. I mean, they were like 28 and 30 years old. I'm 20. Just a kid. They'd already been at it, so inexperienced, and I was just this snot-nosed kid.
Right. You shut everybody up as soon as you hit that one.
They babysit me, but still, I had no,
Yeah.
But they were great. JK was great. All of them were great. Bill Joyner, he was our main songwriter, and he was keyboard player and guitar player.
Yeah.
Very experienced guys. So then I went on and played some other circuit bands. There was one based out of Jacksonville, really good guys. Thrush was the name of that band. Great players. We had originals too.
Right.
That's what the circuit bands did. They try to pepper in some of that's what Nantucket did also. Pepper in some of their originals with covers and say, hey, it's the new ZZ Top song that's coming out next week. It'll be one of your own, and just play it so the club owner didn't get mad. I want you playing originals.
Right.
Some people know.
What was it like back then playing with Tommy Red?
Oh, it was trip. Actually, when I joined Nantucket, he had already left.
Oh, okay.
But then when I came back into the band in 2009, he had rejoined. It was the original 6 again, or original 5 without Kenny.
Right. Yeah.
And and then of course Mark wasn't there either. But it had Benny Dellinger was playing guitar with them. Right. They was singing all the classic songs.
Yeah. It's so fun. It's so fun. He's so much fun to hang out with and listen to stories, and I did a record where Merritt had his penny guitar, right, and his Marshall half stack.
You need closed captions underneath what he's talking and saying.
I know.
Yeah.
He's got that Maysville thing going on.
All vowel sound.
Man, when I got to play that rig one day, his guitar through his amp, and I'm like, this amp was on stage with AC/DC. This amp was on stage with Kiss. Right. It was oh my God, I just felt like lightning,
Right. Tommy was a good player, man. I tell people, I said sometimes he gets the force and he'll rip up a lick. I'm like, man, that was really good.
Yeah.
And we have what we call Tommy chords. And he makes up these chords he's got a huge thumb. Like the old blues players. I mean, he can par the whole guitar with his thumb.
Wow.
And he'll make these chords like Eddie Blair would be trying to figure it out. You know, the voices on it. He goes, this is all it is. He just have, you know, everything barred on the third fret with the 2 strings open on the bottom. You know, this is all it is.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So
So
when
John,
you're out on tour when you're 20. And I mean, you said your dad got you a job at the plant, and that, like, did you have people telling you, yeah, man, music, that's like a tough business. Just stay here at the plant, keep working, you know, punching the clock, blah, blah, blah. Or was everybody, you know,
no, my
did you
parents
have a
were
support
very
system that were
supportive.
like, just do it? Yeah.
Yeah, my parents they knew it wasn't for me. I wasn't going to ever be happy doing that. And my dad asked me, he said, "Do you think you can make a living in it?" I'm like, "Of course I can." Of course I was
Yeah,
wrong.
of course.
But I did make enough. I made as much playing music as I could, working 40 hours a week there.
Yeah.
Third shift. You know, if I'm going to be not getting any sleep, I better be having some fun.
True.
But it's I don't. You know, grass isn't always greener. I have guys that work normal jobs and talk to me, man, you've lived a crazy life. You know, I said, well, man, the grass isn't always greener. And I was like, there's sacrifice. You got married, you had kids, you got grandkids now, you know, all that stuff. I got a room full of drums and some real cool lawnmowers. You know.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And you know, they always say the grass is that line everybody always heard, you know, grass is greener on the other side, but really the grass is greener where you water it. You know, it doesn't matter what you got going on. If you're taking care of it, you know, it's going to be good no matter where you're at.
Right. Exactly.
That is so. Right. So, and speaking of the lawnmowers and like, where did that come into your?
Well,
what year did that happen along with the music and everything? Okay,
COC was done, and Pepper was going back out and doing the down thing. We went over to UK in early 2006 with Clutch, and did a short little run.
I play in a Clutch tribute band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, and those guys can eat some of the hottest food on the planet. Neil, their singer, they had never been to the UK, and they really had a great fan base there waiting for them. And they had never been to the UK, and so we had a day off in the Midlands, and I was familiar with the area. And I said, you know, man, it's some really good Indian food here. Yeah, if you want to go get something, I know we can just walk and find it. It's be right here. I went, yeah. And so we go, and they all order things. They want everything on a scale of 10. I'll look at the guy and go, 10. He goes, you have to pay for it, mate. You still have to pay for it. He goes, I know. And I'm like, you know, we're on a bus, right? We're living on a bus. No number 2 on the bus either.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, no problem. And I watched them all eat it. I mean, they're just glowing red head, you know, and dabbing their brow.
Right.
They ate every bit of it. I'm just
nice.
That's funny as shit. From now on, every time I hear Clutch, I'm gonna think them guys could eat some hot food.
Yeah,
that's why they play like that.
Dude, I am such a big fan of that band, man. I mean, it is they're my all-time favorite band. I mean, I've got Clutch tattoos. I play in a Clutch tribute band. It's Clutch and Cry of Love. Pretty much.
They're getting ready to come back through.
Solid rotation.
Sometime.
Yeah,
I get to see them.
They're on tour. They're on tour like 365, man.
I think they're in South America right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was their first South American tour they're on, if I'm not mistaken.
Maryland band.
Yep.
Maryland. They were over here in Europe. I think they're coming back. They're playing some festival, Belgium. You know, Belgium always has those crazy rock festivals. So I think they're playing.
Well, how's Portugal, man?
I dig it. It's great. I live right outside Porto. On the beach, not on the beach, but I'm a few blocks from the beach.
Jealous.
From the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, it's
very
really nice. Yeah, very nice. One of those things, man. Everybody's like, "You're crazy," blah blah blah. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking do it, man. I'm gonna do it, and I'll figure out, you know, is it gonna work or not after I do it. And so making it work, man. It's I love it. I love it here.
Already fixed all your butts. You can.
Yeah. Well, trying to fix the butts, but I can't do it. But that. It's like, you know what? my philosophy is, man, I just got to do it and figure it out from there. And if I make a mistake, then I'll undo it if I can, and
Right.
change courses. So yeah, it's pretty great. I live. I mean, kind of the thing that prompted me to buy this apartment is it's right across the street from the only live music bar in my town, and all tribute bands. But I mean, every Friday, Saturday night, tribute band. It's like Spain's premier Queen tribute band or whatever. But I saw a band last night. They were playing all covers, but I mean, it had like a 22-year-old girl singing, and everybody else in the band was like everybody else in the band's in their 30s, it looked like. And I mean, they were unbelievable. I was like, they must have originals. I talked to them after. They're like, oh yeah, we can't. They don't want us to play them here. They want to. It's a tribute band bar, so they want to hear all the covers and everything. But yeah, it's the same. I caught an Australian psychedelic rock band here in Portugal. I talked to them. I was like, how did you? I looked them up on Spotify. They had like 30 monthly listeners. I was like, how did you ever get a tour in Europe? And they were like, yeah, some dude from Spain caught us in Australia and booked us all over Europe. Yeah,
it's really expensive to tour.
Yeah, it's expensive. They were in a van. So I don't know. The economics of that is. I'm sure I could figure it out, but I don't. I don't know. I mean, they were all in a van. They're sleeping in a van. They're doing their laundry every day. I'm looking at their Facebook page now, and we're here, we're there, and they're all wearing the same clothes every day.
Our last COC's last run in 23, it was in May. We went out in early May, and we started in Dublin. That's our first show, Dublin, and then we took a ferry over to Scotland, and got into the UK, and then we eventually got into Germany around the 7th. But we just hammering them out like 6 in a row.
Wow!
And after about 3 weeks, Mike Dean took care of. He wore many hats, and so he also did a lot of the books, tour books and everything. And so he's like, anybody want to take a stab on how much the bus has cost so far? And after 3 weeks, and it was just shy of 40,000 euros.
Jeez.
In 3 weeks.
Wow.
And that's where you start to try to turn a profit off of, right?
Right. Yeah.
40,000 in the hole just to get from point A to point B. That's unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
For bands like COC and a lot of those, merch is the main thing.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was getting ready to ask you, where is the revenue? What version of playing like that is your moneymaker?
Well, COC
I do it. I always buy.
Still has a great fan base.
I always buy the T-shirts, man, and all that shit. That when I see these little bands, I got the Australians to sign my shirt, and I gave it to my daughter. She wears it when she sleeps. They couldn't believe it. They're like, "You want us to sign your shirt? That's the shirt. It's so cool."
Well, Pepper and Woody, they always come out. They give us a few minutes, and we'll meet you at the merch booth, and they hang out and sign things and just talk. You see guys lined up, maybe 100 people waiting to talk to them. They don't know who I am. I'm drum tech, as far as they know. And Mike, he's already loaded his gear, but I'd usually be on the bus by 11 o'clock with eating a ham sandwich.
Right.
It's all good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those, man, it's
that
so
was a
much.
fun run. We had some cool bands that played with. Had this band from Germany. They were just 3-piece, 2 guitars and drums, no bass. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name. They were. You can look up our tour and that we did in May. Look up some of that stuff, and it'll have
23.
23. I have the name of that German band. God, they were great. They're really good players.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Really good band. And one guitarist, Bob, he had a thing he could actually play bass on his guitar, drop it down an octave, and do some bass lines.
Right.
So most of the time, they just put a lot of low end on the guitar, and it covered it.
Fuzz it up.
3 pieces. I think maybe you might have a bass player now, but they were really good. I was hoping they would come over to the U.S.
Right. What's it like? What's it like physically? Like just the physicality of having to play? Because I would imagine, if you're behind your kit for a Nantucket gig or you're behind the kit for a COC gig, you're just your actual physical output has got to be
giving it your all.
Yeah. I mean, like,
play loud.
Right.
You have to bring it. You know, I play with 2 Bs turned around backwards.
Oh, wow, okay.
As hard as an old guy can hit. You know, and try not to pass
crazy.
out. Yeah. But first song's pretty, your basic metal 2/4. Paranoid opioid. And then it kind of slows down to more of a groove stuff.
Yeah.
It goes to.
Now, with COC being so iconic and so big, like, what is it like for you as a drummer when you gotta like sit behind, somebody like Reed that was there for so long? Like, I mean, what is it like?
That's right.
I mean, how do you? I mean, is there any discussion with the band? Is it like, we don't want you to do what Reed did, do your own thing, or like, how do you feel like that? There's
a few key drum parts on some songs that you just have to play. You know, at the end, say like the ending of Vote. You know, down to the band, down to the band, down to the band, bang, bang. You know, you know, at the very end and the beginning too. You know, gong, 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 bum, bum, king. You know, he just
right.
He wasn't trained. He couldn't tell you what a double stroke was or a paradiddle. He had terrible technique, but he played some of the coolest shit ever. And that right foot was blistering fast.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Really neat player, man.
Yeah.
And of course, the Stanton stuff is different. And,
when that happened, I was shocked. I was like, Stanton Moore? Are you serious? Like, how's that going to work?
You're right.
But well, that was what the In the Arms of God record, I think, or something. Yeah.
He's just creative. You know, he comes to his timing. He can play all that polyrhythm stuff, and his timing over 4 is so creative.
Yeah.
The licks he played, came up with, I'm like, they must have just dubbed that in. No. I asked John, I said, did you move that somewhere, take all the drum channels and drum tracks and just move them a nanosecond off time? And like, no, that's how he played it. Look at this out.
That's cool.
All right, so you said landscaping kind of comes in around 2005. Like, what got you into that? Like, why not continue on the tour train?
We were Mike Dean and Woody and I were just kind of getting together in Wendell at Woody's house and just jamming on some stuff. I had my kit set up and we had just a little recorder thing. And so while Pepper was doing the down thing, I was like, well, let's make use of it. And I kept telling him, it's like, make up with Reed. Y'all go out as your 3-piece thing. Just do that, man. That'd be awesome. I'll support it, Yeah. And so I need to make some money.
Right.
And so my best friend, her husband, traveled with work, and they had their own little tech company thing going. And her yard looked horrible. It's like half of an acre yard, grass is all high. So I started mowing her grass and got everything under control for her. And she was paying me. Then the neighbor came over and said, like, how much you charge? I'm like, I don't know, $50. And like, really, do my yard. And so, I started doing that. Then the next neighbor, then the next neighbor. And,
wow.
I mean, it never bothered me to cut grass. I always did as a kid. I mean, I had my whole neighborhood here making big bucks, $2-3 a yard,
nice.
Push mowing it. But anyway, so I'm like, well, shit, I gotta go buy a trailer now. And now I bought a 0 turn, and I do try to do most of it by myself.
Yeah.
And, but this is my last year of it.
Gotcha.
I'll be 65 next May.
Yeah.
That's gonna be it for me.
So your last year of riding mower, or the last year of just gonna
keep playing for sure. But but getting out there and weed eating ditches in 98-degree weather, Eastern North Carolina.
Dude, I could just only imagine if I had to get my yard done, and then like if my wife called some company or something, and I walk up to my yard one day and you're standing there or something, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" I'd lose my shit. Like, do you know who you are?
Right.
Why are you cutting my grass?
Well, I enjoy it, man. I like tinkering on them. I do all my own maintenance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I even messed up my finger.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
I won't show you what it looks like underneath this Band-Aid. But yeah, working on one of my mowers July 3rd, it slipped off the floor jack, and when it fell, just the tip of my finger got caught between the muffler I was trying to reinstall and the oil drain, and it pulled the fingernail off. I mean, just I found it on the shop floor 2 days later.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put it on a necklace. You know that. You know, it's a reminder. Don't be so effing stupid.
Right.
Yeah, take your time.
Use it as a guitar pick.
Yeah, right. You know, alcohol was probably involved a little bit. But,
Wow.
possibly.
What's the transition?
I talk to Audley Freed and Robert Kearns quite often. Yeah, you know, they're doing well. And Audley just put out his own solo thing. Him doing singing, playing, all of it.
Really?
It's really neat, man.
I got to find that. I'm
very organic and rich and natural sounding. Yeah.
Dude, what is it like playing with that dude, man?
Holy.
That is, I mean,
right. COC came to Nashville in 2005, and Audley and Robert came out and we're just hanging out. And Clean My Wounds, we do this jam thing, and it's just in D. And Pepper hands his guitar to Audley, and he just makes up something, and Pepper like fell on the floor. He just the stuff he played in the first 4 bars, it was just, oh my god! He just dropped to the floor. And
the guitar solo and Peace Pipe,
right? Yeah,
dude, that first lick, I got chicken skin right now just thinking about it, and I've heard it 7 million freaking times.
Right.
I put it on. I mean, that dude, man, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if I could look that guy in the eye if I ever met. I never got to meet Audley in person.
He had this homemade Strat that he put together. It had a Mormouth neck on it, reverse headstock. Strat, and he built it from scratch. And on one other Strat, maybe that was pretty much it. That's all he had is Silver Jubilee and a two Marshall 412s. But he did have a 200-watt super bass also. So that's what was used on Saving Grace. And they dimed it out, and and so it was. He said, Custer said it was so loud that it was coming through the soundproof glass into the control room. But it had that. That's the only way you could play it. You had to just dime it out, make it loud as shit. But
man, I could just, if I was in that, I could just imagine sitting back there going, what the fuck did he just play? I'd probably lose my spot.
Yeah. Yeah. They did it quick.
And so everybody from that band, I mean, you went on to do awesome things. So Audley he went to what, was it the Black Crows and Cheryl Crow and then.
Right. He did that run with Jacob Dylan, the Dixie Chicks. He's just such a good team player. I mean, he doesn't have to, he did a lot of stuff with Peter Frampton.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot him.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Peter loved him. He told me, he said, nobody can put a lead together better than Audley Freed.
No.
Coming from Peter Frampton, that was saying a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when he was out with, when Page was out with the Crows, Robert was there hanging out also. And he said, man, it was really weird sitting in the dressing room with Audley. And walks in Jimmy Page. He's asking him about a guitar part. What am I supposed to play here? What's my part? And he had shows him what the part is.
Right.
That's right. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's funny.
So many different guitar tracks.
Wow. So more back to but Robert. So Robert's he's playing for Skinner, right?
No, he left Skinner a long time ago. He's been with Cheryl for
okay.
Almost as long as Audley had.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, as long as Audley had. And Audley's wife, Jen Gunderman, is playing keyboard and backup singer, who's an amazing on her own. She's a regular at the Ryman and teaches also. But I think Cheryl had relocated to Nashville, got out of the LA scene. and just relocated to that area, and just because they were always playing these little shows around town, and saw them, and it's like, that's my band. Fred Eppington on drums, and like that's my band right there. I want you guys.
Right.
And so they all came with her, you know. Of course, she's always had Peter Stroud. It's her right hand guy. And but Audley was so efficient doing that B bending stuff that they didn't need the steel player anymore. That he could cover it.
Wow.
You know,
that's
like
pretty.
that. So
that's pretty spectacular.
Right. Again,
like I could do
two
we're
talking
jobs.
about. That's right.
Right. Do two jobs. That's one person off the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
More room on the bus. Yeah.
What was the transition like for you from, being, like the old days, just out grinding, to here comes the internet, here comes things like Spotify and all these other ways to make money as a musician.
Not make money.
I mean,
right.
Yeah. I mean, did anything that you did back then that you recorded, like, that's on a streaming service now? Or I mean, like, does that play into your income at some? Of course, we don't need any numbers, but I mean, I'm just curious how that
Beyonce got, but
right.
But that big class action suit that Miss Swift created, against those streaming guys and Beyonce. Audley contacted me and said, "Hey man, I got a check for you. I'm getting back pay on all the stuff that, from 10 years of Crowd Love streams and stuff that of my own as well that I never got paid for or got pennies on the dollar for." And so they won that, and so nice little paycheck showed up one day. I'm like, I thought it's gonna be like a couple $100 or something.
Right.
It was substantially more than that. And I was like,
nice.
But that would say a lot, also about Audley, also just honest. And, still include me in on all that. But it was stuff
for sure.
Part of my performance publishing.
Mm.
And I know you talk mostly about Brother, but I really enjoyed doing the Diamonds and Debris record too. That was a lot.
I was working my way there because I wanted to mention Kelly and all
Robert,
that.
Robert,
man. Oh my God, man. Just
talked to Robert Mason a couple days ago, man. He's doing well. Still doing the Warrant thing, and just incredible singer. Incredible.
Yeah. So, and we don't need to get too, if there's anything too personal, we don't have to cover it. But like the transit, like, because I know as a diehard Cry of Love fan, like initially, I was a little bit resistant to the Diamonds and Debris record. I was like, man, it's not Kelly, and that dude was just so fantastic. And speaking of which, by the way, I got to go down a little side street here while we're talking, because one of the about 5 years ago at Kelly's memorial, at the Lincoln, you and me were standing backstage chit chatting right before you went up and played Too Cold for the Winter.
Right.
And man, I have got to tell you, that was an experience that I will never ever forget, because even though it wasn't Cry of Love, but it's your soul, it's the second you just tap the hi-hat, I was like, that's fucking Jason Patterson. That is that sound, that is that groove, that you can't recreate it. You can't. It's like,
too.
God, dude, that thing was beautiful. Yeah. Oh, you recorded it with that?
Yeah. I found those drums. Again, I sold them in '94 while we were out with Aerosmith. No, we were over in. We were getting ready to go out with Aerosmith. We were in the UK with Robert Plant, and so I'd gotten my DW deal, and so while we were in the UK, I was just using Backline. So we put my white Yamaha kit on consignment at the local drum shop, 2112 Percussion in Raleigh. And so Steve Johnson sold them and contacted me, got up with me, said, "Hey, sold your kit." And I went, "Okay, cool." And so that was the end of it. That was '94. And about 7 years ago, maybe, I was doing dates with this Skinner tribute, Tuesday's Gone, based out of Raleigh. And we were on our way to Tennessee, and our bass player, Mark Roper, asked me, "Hey, man, all those drums you owned, what did you use on the Brother record?" I said, "My recording customs." He said, "Where are they?" I'm like, "I don't know. Sold those things in '94. Somebody." And that was the end of it. That very evening, I get on Craigslist and I type in snare drum, and it hits. It says Yamaha recording custom with 8-inch snare drum. They're my drums.
No way.
And so I bought them. I bought them back. They had the same heads.
Fantastic.
Same heads, had a 2112 percussion on the front.
No way.
Those are my drums. That's my kit. So yeah, I bought them back. They're incredible.
Dude, I just when I play with folks or talk to other people about music, it's just I am such a drum fan. Like it's so important. What you do is so important to what the listener experience is. Like they're not even though Audley's walks on water, they're not tapping their foot to him. They're tapping their foot to you. And they're bopping their head because of you. And it's like the drummer is just. Some people just, there's always drummer jokes and bass player jokes and all that, right. But really, I mean, if you don't know where one's at, the whole thing's gone,
Right.
But it's your touch. It is
a band is only as good as its drummer.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And
what would Led Zeppelin been with somebody different? Right. Without John Bonham. What would the Who been without Keith Moon?
Exactly. Yeah. When I saw you that night sit behind when you played that song, even though it wasn't the band,
right.
It was still the band because I mean, I was just, I can't even explain how blown away. I was just standing back there with my jaw on the floor. I think I might even cried a little bit. I was just, hey, you really touch it. Really hit me it hit me deep. I was like, that's that sound. You can't teach it. You can't recreate it. You can't cover it. You can't, it's you. That's you. Well, it was amazing. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so now what? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Well, I want to. I mean, that's probably changing the subject now, but I'm curious if you're gonna retire, what are you gonna do? What's your plan? What's next? Are you still playing music? Are you gonna play music?
Yeah.
I mean, do that.
Leave me a little bit more time to play some music. I think.
Yeah. So go back out and hook up with do shows, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if I. Just anything to keep your chops up and keep your sanity. Musicians have to play. If you don't, you'll go insane.
Yeah.
You have to have an outlet, even if it's just in your room, banging around on drums. Making up stuff in your head. You gotta have an outlet.
So are you getting calls to do you get calls? Hey, we need a fill in. We need someone to come out for 3 weeks.
Every once in a while,
kind of.
Cheryl hadn't called me. I need to fill in anything. But the last time I saw her, they played in Fayetteville, and she came walking up to. She's really kind, really sweet girl, and she just walks up and she goes, "You were in Cry of Love."
Nah.
And this is right after she had just been inducted into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I went, "And you are Cheryl Crow." She's like, my brother was so excited when I told him I had the guitarist and bass player from Cry of Love playing in my band.
That's amazing.
He's a huge fan. But but she loves those guys. And then takes care
I told a friend of mine, Chris Bishop, he plays guitar in a band called Crowbot, which is really tight. They were on opened up for Clutch a lot.
Right.
And they're real tight with those guys. Yeah.
Right.
I told him I was going to be talking to you today because me and him talk about Cry of Love. Like he's in Austin, Texas, and me and my wife went down there. Him and his wife are both tattoo artists as well. So we went down there and got tattooed. I sat in his chair for 4 hours getting a tattoo, and all we did was talk about Cry of Love. We had it on the radio. Listen to this part. It's coming.
That's funny.
But yeah, and I didn't mean to breeze over the Diamonds and Debris record discussion there because, like I said, as a listener, as a fan, I was just like, man, it's different because it's not those 4 guys, but I'm gonna tell you what, man, there are some freaking bangers on that record, man. Once I accepted the new vocal,
right, there's some good performances on there.
It's still Cry of Love, man.
Yeah, all these plays his ass off on it.
Woo! Georgia Pine,
played incredible.
Come on, Revelation.
Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah.
those songs weren't radio friendly. They were longer, more arrangements. But bands are supposed to progress. And it had been 3 years between Diamonds and Brother. Just like the Beatles changed, Zeppelin changed, everybody changed. As their records got
AC/DC
different.
didn't.
Well, that's true.
They did the same record 17 times.
Every one. And they're all still great.
I know. It's still awesome.
Great.
Man, yeah.
That's funny. But, the listening public now, I think they just want that comfortable shoe syndrome. They don't want to have to think about it. If it's so different from what they're used to hearing, then they don't like it.
Yeah. Well, how does that play into now? With you transitioning out of the landscaping business and kind of leaning back on music again, like where do the projects that you choose to play in or the songs that you choose to record nowadays with streaming and all these other aspects to the business on how you make a living as a musician, does it influence what you choose to do or what you choose to play, or do you ever go into it writing for anything other than yourself?
No jazz band's gonna come ask me. I'm a Neanderthal, when it comes playing. Yeah. That's my style. I have that influence, swing. I can play swing, but I play with big sticks and rock drums. But I have set in on like low volume gigs and had to play, Girl from Ipanema and stuff, and I can play it and play it correct,
right.
And you have to be able to do that, as a drummer. I think you can't just be, animal 24/7.
Sure.
That's fine if you
be a good version of it though.
Yeah.
Girl from Ipanema. Yeah. Beat that thing out on some rock drums, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear it actually, man.
You're like, do it. Break it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'll play with anybody. I appreciate it all. I'll play country.
Yeah.
I'll play classic country. I really prefer that than the bro country thing. It's just
right.
Which is just Def Leppard with a country guitar in it.
Right.
Yeah.
You just got to talk like this.
I just like the old Merle and Hank and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Man. Not a lot of drums going on in that stuff, but it's just the content of the songs are fun for me to listen to while I'm playing them.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
So a couple other questions I got before we wrap up. I'm always curious, like, what's the largest crowd do you think you ever played in front of?
Oh, we did Donington.
Oh, wow. Shoot.
Yeah, we did Donington. We just had the anniversary of it. A friend of mine had the laminate from it. Crowd Love. We were on the small stage, which was the size of Walnut Creek. Yeah.
Wow.
But it was 75,000 people.
No way.
Yeah, 70
on
Monsters of Rock. Donington. June.
Wow.
Amazing.
It was. I commented on it. I said we were tired, we were cold. We really didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We were supposed to play. I think we played at 1:00 in the afternoon. People knew who we were, but we weren't a metal band.
Right.
There were a lot of pretty heavy bands on that bill.
Yeah.
And it was well, you know how it changes in the UK.
Yeah.
It can be 50 degrees, and it was in June and raining and miserable. But it was on the Formula One racetrack. That's where it was.
Wow.
And, so the big Aerosmith was the headliner. It was the worst I ever heard them. It was probably dropped down to about 40 degrees that night, and they couldn't keep the guitars in tune.
Oh,
it was horrible. But the last show we did with them was the Rock and Rim festivals in Germany, and they were smaller. There was about 30,000 of those, and they had them in 2 cities. And so they had 2 stages going also. And so we watched them, and they brought some of their robotic lights and but it just sounded good. It just their performance was spot on for that night. And it was a mist. They come up late, and so they had all those moving lights, and you could see the mist. It was very surreal.
Wow.
Just hanging back at the soundboard, watching Aerosmith. They were
crazy.
They were killing it. They sounded so good. Their drummer, John Douglas, that's playing with them now, he was drum checking with ZZ Top when we were on tour with him. He was from Houston or Dallas, but his band had gotten shelved and were just locked up in legalities and couldn't release the record. They couldn't do anything. So he needed a job, and he got just drum checking for Frank. And he was really talented and a great drummer. Like we'd always walk in, he'd be like wearing Frank's kit out. Like, man, And so he went on and stayed in touch with. He does a lot of stuff with Billy, also, and so did Audley. They did that tribute to Billy Gibbons, and he had to sit there with Billy Gibbons 5 feet away from him and play all those ZZ Top leads note for note. With
my goodness,
the man looking at you. He said, no pressure at all for that. But he killed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
He killed it.
Well,
anyway.
does that influence how you feel? Like if you just go to a normal club on a normal night and there's 200 people in the room, do you ever just go, damn, like
I played
this place is empty, or yeah. So do you ever? Does that comparison happen, or? Yeah. Okay.
I don't care. Nobody can be there. I'll still have a good time.
Yeah, that's a common theme I hear from every musician. I talk to. They don't care.
Just do a couple more shots, and in my mind, I played amazing that night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To the Facebook video show, I'm like, what the hell were you thinking?
There you go. There you go.
5 over 4 in that part.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, tell us what let's get a couple pieces of words of wisdom before we wrap up. It is the Butt Fixer podcast, and we're all about, like overcoming those butts to progress yourself, your career, whatever your goals are. Like, do you have did you have to overcome any butts in your career that got you where you were?
Just be true to yourself, try to do your best.
Yeah.
You're going to make mistakes. Just try to learn from them.
That's it. I mean, we've said it almost every podcast, Shane. Failure is an amazing teacher, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of things that were mistakes turned out to be brilliant ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
Me and John have come up with a million ideas. We only got one that worked.
Yeah. Hey, but thank God it did, man. I'm sitting here I say
we've got some very successful dog training businesses, but everything that's around that we've tried to come up with has just been like, we tried, but
dude,
we always go back to what
I just showed someone that picture of you and I in Aruba, man, sitting on a bench.
Oh yeah, we were busking in Aruba. He was hollering, we're going to make $150 tonight. And I was like, we ain't making shit. It's midnight. We got a fifth of tequila, a set of spoons, and an acoustic guitar in the middle of the street in Aruba.
Right.
We're fucking broke, and we're staying that way.
Good friend of mine, his now ex-wife, but she was a country singer. And they decided to leave this area and move to Nashville. And he said, man, we've been there a lot, man. I watched some of those guys playing those bars. I'm looking at the money they're making on those tip jars. I think we can make, at least $400 or $500 a week and survive. I went, good luck. And they get there and they lived there for almost a year and a half before anybody even let them come in and play for tips.
Oh my God.
And so he said the first day they came in, they played somewhere they had started like 9 o'clock in the morning and played till like 3 in the afternoon, something like that. He said, we made $11.72.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I said, welcome to Nashville. Right.
It's that's why I was asking about the social media stuff and the streaming and everything. I had one song do 90,000 streams, which for me, by far the biggest accomplishment musically I've ever had. Just to see that number, that many people heard my song. But then I got a check. I got $19.42 for 90,000 straight. I was like, this is the stupidest shit ever. I'm gonna stick to training dogs.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what was going on with Taylor Swift. You know, I mean, she's had like 15 million downloads or something. She got a check for like $10,000 or something like that.
Oh
went,
my God. No. I would have lost my mind.
It's not going to work. She pulled all her stuff, pulled it.
Yeah.
So, no, you will pay me and pay everybody else like we are owed.
Right.
That's more than awesome. 0.00001 cent.
Exactly.
You know?
That's insane.
You know,
that's crazy.
Well, good. Well, Jason, I'm gonna tell you, man,
I've enjoyed it.
I'm a huge fan. And I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, because it is especially the music business. Even if you're not a musician, even people that are just fans, they don't really get to. Nobody's ever pulled the curtain back for them, so that they can see what it's like. In this world, it's crazy.
30 some plus years ago. I mean, it was still a business. Then it's we have these individuals, hit makers. The book Hitman it describes what it used to be. Now it's not like that anymore. There was no such thing as the internet or streaming.
Right.
People bought records. They bought the whole record and listened to it and read the liner notes and
lyrics.
And it's probably coming back a little bit slowly. Yeah. Probably not in my lifetime, but it's coming back. Kids are getting bored. It's the same thing over and over again. They're just getting bored with it. So the old ways are kind of coming back a little bit with bands touring.
I hope so.
Yeah. Because
even now, it's like, imagine what's out now that we would be listening to in 30 years from now. It's never going to happen.
Really,
that's just over.
A record deal anymore.
Yeah.
Not really.
YouTube famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. People just do it now. And but I think the money is in the touring now, right? That's the only way to really make any kind of decent money in the business, is you got to go out and play in front of people, sell your t-shirts, all that stuff, right?
Then you had to sell a lot of records, but so you made most of your money off your merch, and touring will have performances. So you're playing somewhere in Iowa, you're from North Carolina, you got one single on the radio that's been out for like 2 weeks. Nobody's going to be there.
Exactly.
You're playing for free. The record label pretty much said, you just book them for free. We get tour support. We got such a little amount of money to be out. We didn't take any salaries. Tribe loves it.
Yeah.
Really? No salaries. No salaries at all. Just a per diem, daily per diem. But everything was provided. You usually had meal buyouts or meals were provided, and snacks and drinks and beers. Everything was provided. We didn't have to spend any money ever.
Right.
You always had money. It wasn't much, but always had a wad of cash you'd have to send home after a month.
Right.
But
that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun watching that stuff progress over the course of those 18 months. Like we played in Allentown, Pennsylvania, right out of the gate, and there was nobody there. Nobody. Peace Pipe had just come out, so we came back 6 months later, something like that. Peace Pipe was number one, and been number one, and Bad Thing was out, and so then it was packed.
That's so cool.
And it was like, wow. First time we played here, there was nobody here.
Wow.
But we did that. I'll leave you on this one. This is funny though. We did this thing live from Sony Studios when Peace Pipe had gone number one, and a lot of the execs came down, Columbia guys, and we did this broadcast thing. It was very high tech for the time, but that's where some of those live recordings came from. And so we did Peace Pipe, and we did a version of Bad Thing, and we did Ain't Superstitious, wow, 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 come, all that. So we just playing live. We were really just playing live. And after that, we went and played at this bar, and there was literally nobody there the next night. And so Kelly's up there. He's like, well, this song just went number one on the AOR charts, folks. And you hear, clap. That's about it. You know,
That'll
like
bring you back to reality.
One guy in the back. Good job. Well,
That's
later,
awesome.
we're rock stars now.
Yeah. That's
you
awesome.
got a fan. Yeah. There he is.
Anyway,
Hey, real
thank
quick,
you,
Jason, just a quick like technical thing so we don't lose this when we log off. Keep keep the app open because your audio has to upload into the app. So when you
no problem.
when you sign off, just keep it open for half an hour or something like that.
Okay,
And we
I'll
should
just,
be
I'll
good.
just
We
set my
lost
phone down and walk away.
There should be a message that tells you when it's done. Like in mine, I can see I've got a percentage on mine that's already, but we'll just don't close it out.
Okay.
We gotta. I don't want to have to like.
Or do it. We'll just get you on again. So we'll redo it. Start all over. I could listen to those stories all day long personally. So I'm a huge music fan. So I love that shit. So hey, but thanks a lot for taking the time and doing it on a Sunday.
Yeah, I've enjoyed
Sunday
it.
morning for you.
It's an absolute honor to speak with you, Jason.
You
Thank
too,
you so
my friend.
much for thank you for all the riffs, all the good music, and you the man.
I'll buy you a shot when I see you.
All right, man. Hey, I want in on that one then.
All right.
All right. Let's go to Portugal and have one.
That's right.
Yeah, man. You guys are invited. Come on out. Yeah.
I vote yes.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Jason. You the man.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye-bye.